Rock in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the end of a homestand coming up this weekend with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here's truly Mark Mancini in Los Angeles. First things first, Tarrik, how are you? And the great sponsors that sponsor this great show.
Oh man, doing great. Yesterday was my mother's homegoing service. So hopped on a plane after, the win against the mother's homegoing, come out and hopped on a plane after, the win against the Tigers to, come out and pay my respects and send her off. So man, mixed emotions there, but doing well. Um, but before that, man, I just want to thank the sponsors because they were really awesome in reaching out to me. BMW of Pittsburgh, Mini Cooper of Pittsburgh, 412 Sports Ministries, R&D Strategies, the Cardio Grind, which they're going to be getting going here in just a couple minutes here. And then BRG Baseball Resource Groups, man, just awesome, man. Just hearing really good things and reports about what's going on in the Inland Empire. So, man, that's it. That's what we got, man. And
You,
it was
you know,
just,
it's amazing, and sorry to cut you on that. Um, when you look at an off day and people don't quite understand how tough an off day is when you have to go and bury somebody and pay your respects and stuff. How tough was that to after the afternoon game to have that off day and then come back and now start the 3-game series? People might say it's part of baseball and everything, but people don't understand we're human beings too when we put our pants on one leg at a time.
yeah, I mean, we still experience life, experience, loss, just experiences highs and lows. Most of the things, we miss, as our kids are growing up, we miss a lot. I look at it like this, like I haven't celebrated a Fourth of July, with my family in 30 years, 30 plus years. I've always been out, and been entertaining others. But it's a part of what we sign up to do. It just makes the time that we do have in the off season that much more precious.
They say memories become a memory. And then you just latch onto the little things. But if you keep that memory going, the memories still exist to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
absolutely. I think what really sits with me was like after, every game, I would get a text message from my mom, about coaching and, what the team needed to do. I haven't had that in, 3.5, almost a month. But it's just still this one of the things I do after the game. I still go in and expect, a text, because it would come, 30 to 45 minutes after the game. And I haven't had that. So that's just something that, sits like after the game, this is what she would say.
Yeah, and it's amazing because we can go through life and we've got friends and I kind of look at it like sports teams. It never becomes a problem until they keep pushing it, but you got to pass the message, and when they know you believe in God, sometimes they'll challenge us on it and say, well, how do you know, and all this. My reaction to that, or saying back, is we'll all experience it on our own.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, would you rather, you know, at the end, be like, I'm glad I did, or oh my gosh, I didn't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So for me, it's just something that, my parents instilled in me and, and I was able to experience for myself and then was be able to see it, in my kids' lives as well. So I think that's the biggest thing, it's not about what you accomplish, what you amass, things that you amass. It's about, at the end, do you accept the free gift of salvation?
Well, and not only that, you got two families. You got the family with your wife and the two kids, and then you got the family with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I imagine both of them have been more supportive in so many ways. And then the clubhouse guys and the fans and all that. So it's going to be really overwhelming to the point where you're getting so much support on this to carry you through it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's such a tight knit group because you see them, more than you see your family members, and
Yeah.
like, it's not a regular 8 hour work day. It's longer than that. Plus travel, you see each other, all the time. And, the actually the interesting thing about that was, as I was leaving the ballpark on Wednesday, it was family day as well. So it's just a bunch of kids, extended family members just walking around there. It was the coolest thing ever to experience, and I was really happy for them that they were able to spend that time, just as well as I was happy to be boarding a plane to come out and do what I needed to do. So it's all a part of life, and if you keep everything in the right perspective as much as you can, you get to enjoy some really cool moments.
Yeah, and recently we've lost also Hulk Hogan, Chuck Mangione, Ozzy Osbourne. It's like, oh, I say to myself, people, used to go in threes. It's almost like they're going in fives now. I told my wife.
Yeah, that was something that we saw yesterday, and it was just like, wow, caught off guard there. And it just makes it where the celebration of life is cool, and it's the dash in between the day you're born and when you leave that matters the most. Like, were you able to impact others? Were you able to bring, some joy and show empathy and just, be there? And what did you model is becomes the most important thing.
I've always said, when we get awards and everything, and I was talking this over with some friends, sometimes people see the front of the house. They don't really see the back of the house. I remember, doing serving and everything. And when we'd have meetings and everything, everybody would recognize the people in the front. But how about the dishwasher? How about the cook and stuff like that? And that's what we need to bring to the forefront in a lot of things today. And even in organizations where people don't see the regular guys in the front on the field and stuff, and that becomes much more important as well.
Yeah, I would say this, like the greatest, the funnest walk is from the parking lot to the clubhouse. As you're passing by so many areas and departments and stuff, and just being able, to say hello and see repeat faces. You might not remember all the names, but just, greeting them good morning, or, how you doing, and smile, man, means an absolute, lot. Uh, because, they're making it, better for other people to watch us do what we do. And especially the ushers and the security staff, they're the line of defense from somebody coming out on the field. So it's just the coolest thing to just build those types of relationships, memories, connections, because it's unbelievable. We have one, usher. Her name is John Lawrence that takes care of my wife, in the stands when she's there every time. I see him and connect with him during BP, and then he'll come over and say, "Hey, is your wife in today?" And, "Oh, she is. Okay, girl, I'm gonna go over and see her." And spend some time with it. It's just the awesome things. Like, those are the relationships that you would never think that will be formed. A guy working at the stadium and someone that's on the field, but it does happen. When you just value people, for being human as well.
Yeah, take this time to reflect on the guys that might not get the star treatment. As we look at how you started, boy, I mean, it's decades and knowledge and experience in baseball. How you got your start in something. We've talked about it a little, but letting the listeners know, man, it's simply amazing. It's you got to take the treks, you got to take the journey, and it's not all the bright lights in the big cities.
Yeah, I mean, it started for me, like, my parents and I moved across the street from a park. And one morning, one Saturday morning, there was horns honking and kids and loud. And I go out in the backyard and I see them getting ready for opening day. Little League was about to start up. I watched the entire parade as guys had the colorful uniforms on, the A's, the Twins, the Astros. And I told my dad, like, let's sign me up. So my dad, my mom, and I went down the next day to go sign up. And lo and behold, signups were closed. And so I missed that whole entire season when I was 7, just watching games play. The next year, we meet the signups. I get the opening day parade, and I was hooked on baseball ever since. It was the coolest thing. I met, several friends that I'm still friends with to this day. My parents are still friends with. And the coolest thing was, like, yesterday, I was in the backyard, talking to a couple friends, as we celebrate my mom, and just looked over and just saw like that's where it all started for me. Holly Park Little League on the Twins. It was the coolest thing ever.
And then not only that, the Astros, the Dodgers, the journey there. I mean, the stops, the relationships, uh, are priceless. And getting the opportunity, and now 6 years in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it is. It was like the coolest thing to just, see that start and see, where I am now, to see all the ups and downs, the different small cities, all throughout the country, the international trips. It's been one incredible, ride. And the cool thing is that, my family, and the first person that was with me when I got the call, this was back in 1991, where you had to push the answer machine, and my mom and I were, jumping up and down dancing, when I got the call from the Detroit Tigers that they drafted me. It was the coolest thing ever. So to see that, to, just finish playing the Tigers in a major league, baseball game is the coolest thing. It's just like, man, dreams do, come true. But there was a lot of ups and downs, and
Yeah.
no quit.
Yeah. And when you get drafted by a team, and we're seeing that Major League Baseball just said the number one pick is the guy you selected in 2024, Connor Griffin. I mean, and when you get to be drafted, that's going to be amazing, because then you got somebody that just believes in your talents and everything. And it's almost like, man, I don't want to disappoint. I got to get out to Detroit and really perform here.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing, a team is just not only betting on you, the player, I mean, the talent, they're betting on the player as well. And that's why when I came up, man, there was a bunch of in-home visits. They want to get to see, what your parents were like, what you were like. If they pushed you a little bit, would you push back? Would you fold? It was a lot of things. They talked to your neighbors to see what you was like. You had no idea that they would, talk to your neighbors until after the draft. And you come to find out, man, they went all up and down my neighborhood, talking to people, because, you're investing in a person, and then you're investing in their talent second.
Yeah, and that's important too. And when you look at it, I know we talked a little earlier about character and talent. I've always thought, talent's good. You need the talent at a certain level. A character, man, can make or break something. And character to me is really important, because that can really bring people together.
Absolutely. The biggest thing that you'll see in that is when you're going through tough times. You know, do guys, retreat? Do they get silent? Do they finger point? Or are they leaning in? Just trying to find different ways. Trusting and chasing the process of success. Not greatness, but success becomes one of the biggest things there. And then when you're making, changes like physical changes, maybe to a swing, like your character comes into play there. Why? Because those are a lot of frustrating moments. Like you're making a physical adjustment while competing on a daily basis. That's hard, and we all would love to see the changes play and stick, but then you're gonna have those ups and downs where you finally get off that good swing, and then it's three bad swings, but you still got to compete, and there's no excuses.
Yeah, and I guess the mentality I would take is, if there's so much negative around, is, I look at, tomorrow's going to be another day, and we're just chasing somebody ahead of us. That's all we're looking at. And that kind of puts it in its tracks, as far as the fact where, we're focused on positives here, because a lot of people will try to sell anything as far as papers or anything as far as negativity. But that's the way I would look at it. And I'm sure that's the way you guys look at it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you doing everything you can to block the outside noise, whether
Yeah.
it's good or whether it's bad. Because they're just looking from the outside. They don't see what's going on. They don't see, that you're working on the swing. They don't see that you're, playing, with a sore knee, but you're keeping it out the reports because you're supposed to steal bases. It's like there's so many different things there. A pitcher, that has a wrist issue and he can't necessarily spin his breaking ball, but he could, throw a cutter or a slider. and you still go out and compete because you want to, do what's best for yourself and the team. I just, it's the coolest thing. So if you, lean on the applause, then you're gonna have to lean on and accept the booze as well.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. And you just keep pushing yourself to get better and striving, and that's all we can do. Hey, great homestand so far. You've eaten your books. I mean, the White Sox, and now you take out the Tiger team. That was the best team in baseball, three straight. Man, oh man, that had to feel good.
Yeah, I mean, we came out of the break, very flat. I mean, we were flat, and the White Sox came out with some energy and they fought. And I was telling guys, I said, that's what, normally we look like. We normally play like Philly or some team like that, out of the break, and we come out playing fast and quick. We just didn't have it. So, what the adjustment was going in the Tiger series was like, hey, we got to match their energy and we got to match their focus. And it also helps having Paul Skeens and Mitch Keller throwing as well. And then Bailey Falter, came in and pitched a gym as well. But that's what it is. It's like matching the same type of intensity that team that you're playing, and then the focus becomes extremely important too. And if you can manage to have those two things, like you give yourself a chance to compete and have an opportunity to win.
Now you get the Diamondbacks in, and this is a team that's lost a couple sluggers in a couple days with the trade deadline. Suarez going to the Yankees, Naylor going to the Mariners. What are you looking for in this series?
I mean, the biggest thing for us is again, it's just man, keeping the guys off the bases as much as we can because they're a flying team. And then secondly, when we get base hits, we got to get out the box hard and push those guys because they're not huge stores in the outfield. So it's just like taking extra 90s, whether it's home to second, first to third, first to home, like those things become extremely important. On defense, getting to the ball as quickly as possible in the outfield and getting it in because they're going to be looking to stretch, long singles and the doubles. And that's what's going to be like the key thing there.
And Lavello, a local guy, Montclair prep, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, he's going to come out, man, and then Dave McKay is going to have those
Yeah.
guys, running the bases. Already know that he's, already got those guys wound up and saying, hey, look, this is what we can exploit. So that's what it becomes for us. We played, well against them, in Arizona, earlier in the year. So now we get them, at home and in some heat and humidity, possible rain delay or something like that where they get to experience it. And so that'll be our home field advantage.
Hey, we're also talking about the Steelers. They busted out the 33 alternates. What do you think of those?
I think it's really good. It just shows, the depth of the team, throughout the years. And, every year breaking out something different, I think is really cool there. I can't wait till they do something futuristic as well that they'll show and then we'll just, get to, enjoy as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Calling the shot. Who do you got?
I'm
This
gonna go with I'm gonna go with O'Neal Cruz. He swung the bat well in the Tigers series, so I'm gonna go with O'Neal Cruz.
still gonna stick with Horwitz. I like that kid, man. He's amazing as well. And man, oh man, nice weekend. I know we'll reconvene Monday in San Francisco as you guys embark on a 6-game road trip. San Francisco and Colorado. That ought to be nice.
Yeah, I mean, it will be, to get out west and get some cool weather. That'll be really, really awesome. We definitely got to pack a little heavy to go to San Francisco because, with 2 night games, man, it gets really cold there
Yeah.
with that wind blowing off the bay there. So that'll be really good to, get out there and see how we match up against them.
And then next Friday we'll talk. You guys will be in Colorado and Clint Hurdleisms.
Yes. Yes, that'll be really good. It'd be good to see him as well. See Warren Schaefer, who was their third
Yeah.
base coach, that is now the manager. Now it'd just be good to catch up with those guys and see how they're doing.
Well, I always appreciate the time. I know it's been tough. Flying to take care of your mom out there and come back in the start of a 3-game series, but these in-depth conversations, man, are second to none. I mean, this is what we need. We need to and get into these in-depth conversations instead of X's and O's and concentrating why people strike out a few times. But I always appreciate your time. You're a brother, a mentor, and a friend. Let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. Great sponsors till we reconvene Monday from San Francisco.
Yeah, so you can find me on X TARRIK SR, all one word. On IG TARRIKBROCKSR, all one word. On Facebook, first and last name, and on TikTok, first and last name. Again, the sponsors again: BMW of Pittsburgh, Mini Cooper of Pittsburgh, 412 Sports Ministries, R&D Strategies, the Cardio Grind out in Tarzana, California, BRG Baseball Resource Group, man. Like, thank you so much, man. And so just looking forward to, just getting back to life.
Yeah, I always appreciate it. Get those snakes today. And I can't wait to talk to you Monday from San Francisco.
All right, man. Take care, man. Have a great day, everyone.
That's Tarrik Brock in Pittsburgh. Here's truly Mark Mancini in Los Angeles. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you Monday morning from San Fran with a cup of Joe. Till then, have a blessed weekend. Stay safe.